All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So PFF recently released their top 32 quarterbacks heading into the 2026 NFL season. Where did Geno Smith pop up on this list? They put him at 26. Okay, 26 is a pretty low number in my personal opinion. I'm not saying he's top 10 or anything like that. I'm not even saying top 15, but 26 is pretty low. And so when I was reading the description, I actually felt like the article made a really good point. Here's what they had to say. Smith certainly felt the effects of Las Vegas's decimated offensive line, and the negative plays quickly piled up. He led the NFL with 17 interceptions and 55 sacks taken during the 2025 regular season. His decision-making was often questionable as he tried to avoid pressure, but a move to New York could alleviate that issue. The Jets' offensive line was the healthiest unit in football last season, ranking 9th in PFF pass blocking grade and 15th in pressure rate allowed. And so by no means do I want to come across as, hey, let's give Geno a pass for this past season. No, absolutely not. Again, he led the NFL in interceptions, but I do want to highlight just how, not in a rude way, but just how bad the Raiders' offensive line situation was, including the running game. Okay, we already know this, but the Raiders had the worst offensive line in football last season. And it wasn't even it wasn't even a debate. There was not a single team in football that you can debate, hey, maybe the Raiders are 31st or maybe the Raiders are 30th. No, it was across the board. The Raiders had the worst offensive line. And then you're factoring in reports about the coaching being totally strange and like executives having to step in and spend time working with the Raiders offensive line because they weren't getting the good enough coaching. But there were some strange dynamics with Pete Carroll and his son, who was in charge of the offense. It was just a weird situation. But, I know it's so easy to say, oh, Raiders had a bad offensive line. Geno had a lot of picks. But if we take it a step further and look at, hey, how was the offensive line when it came to run blocking, right? The half of the offensive line's responsibilities on Sundays. We already know that they were not good in pass protection. How were they in run blocking? Also horrible, right? The Raiders were dead last in rushing yards per game, in rushing touchdowns per game. Also, yards per rush. That is a crucial stat. And then you're looking at the rush play percentage, right? How many times did the Raiders want to run the football on Sundays? Bottom 5 in football. So they were not good at it. They knew they were not good at it, and they didn't attempt to do it because they knew they weren't good. So they were forced into throwing all the time, right? You look at the passing statistics and it backs it up, right? The Las Vegas Raiders were top 4. They were 4th in football with passing play percentage. Geno had the highest sack percentage at just over 11%. So based off of those numbers, what does it equate to? What is it telling us here? We know that Geno was not protected. We know that he was sacked the most in football. We know that they didn't want to run the ball because they couldn't run the ball. The numbers simply don't back that up. And so if we take it a step further, look a little bit deeper, right? Because we're asking the question like, okay, well, how does this pertain to the Jets? New situation, new offensive line, just like the article pointed out. Could we hope as Jets fans for something better? I'm going to say yes. I think the answer is yes. Now, outside of me just being a Jets fan, what is something that I can cling on to that gives me hope that we could potentially see something turned around, right? We can see better production, less interceptions from Geno Smith this upcoming season. I want to take a look at his dropbacks, right? 524 total dropbacks from Geno Smith this past season. Out of those 524, he was considered under pressure in 212 of those dropbacks. Think about that for a second. A total of 524 dropbacks. Under pressure, 212. That is a freaking ton. So if he was under pressure that much, 212 times he was under pressure, that means, right, in turn, 312 times he was not under pressure. I wanted to take a look at those numbers between the two. Did things look the same? Were the stats blurry? No, they weren't. They were actually pretty clear. So when Geno Smith would throw from a clean pocket was around 2.5%. Under pressure, that number was over tripled. His yards per pass attempt, much higher, throwing from a clean pocket. Okay, cool, that is expected, but it's still something nice to see. But if we look at adjusted completion percentage, 7th in football throwing from a clean pocket, 81.9% adjusted completion percentage. So this is not factoring in drops. It's not factoring in, spikes to save time. It removes all that stuff. What was the adjusted completion percentage when he was under pressure? 63.8. That is a difference of 18.1%. That is freaking big time. That is huge. And so look, I don't want to guarantee anything. Oh, the Jets are going to be this high-flying offense. We're going to be top 5 in this and that. No, but what I am saying is these numbers speak directly to success. These are tangible facts that we can look at to help project into 2026. And I think really the theory here, the hope, is that if the Jets can provide Geno Smith with a solid running game, an effective running game, and give him more clean pockets than what he had to deal with back with the Las Vegas Raiders, chances are we're going to see more success and more production from Geno Smith in 2026 compared to 2025. And by the way, this is not even me factoring in the whole coaching element as well. There were problems with Chip Kelly. He was the league's worst offensive coordinator last season with the Raiders. He was fired actually midway through. Just a complete disaster that was. There's numerous articles written about that whole exit and everything like that. And the hope here is that Frank Reich is normal. He's functional. He can roll out an offense. He can call plays. He can do install. He can game plan, things like that. Bill Musgrave, a quarterback coach. So again, that's my hope, but we have numbers to back it up. We have tangible numbers that we can back it up and say, hey, we have a chance here. It's a lot better of a situation to look at this. It's a lot better of a situation to look at the statistics like that compared to, oh, they're all blurred together. There's really not a difference between whether Geno Smith is throwing from a clean pocket or he's under pressure. He looks the same either way. That's not the case here. It's not the case. And these numbers, the difference, I should say, between these two numbers in a lot of different categories are pretty wide. So just something to think about. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.